Hey guys, how are you all? Today I am so excited to share our whitewater river rafting experience in Ganga River in Rishikesh, India. There are so many adventure activities in Rishikesh like rafting, trekking, bungee jumping, kayaking, and many more. Out of all these, we chose rafting, which stretches from Shivpuri to Laxmanjhula, approximately 16 kilometers in total. In this 16-kilometer stretch, there are many rapids that can be experienced in the river Ganga. The rapid grades is like 1 to 5, which is perfectly suitable for beginners as well as experts. The views of Ganga River surrounded by the mountains are splendid. The rafting journey only took an hour, but the memories that we have collected will stay with us forever. We could not take any video as of course we had to keep our belongings in a waterproof case in the boat with the guide, so we could not film the rafting experience. But we paid around, I think it was 2000 or 2500 to the guide who filmed us on his GoPro, which was completely worth it. I would have loved drone footages as well, but I guess that becomes very challenging for the guide in between rafting, so they have stopped doing it. Anyway, we went for the rafting the day we were checking out from Namami Gange Beach Resort, as the booking office was just outside the resort, and they took us to the spot where rafting would begin and the rafting would conclude at the Namami Gange beach. So it was very convenient for us as we didn't have to take any cab to reach to our destination or to return. We took path of around 12 kilometers in total, which had rapid 3 to 4 rapids in between. I'm not at all an adventurous person, but I enjoyed this sport to the core. I was freaking out at the beginning and was even not sure whether I should go for rafting or not, but I showed the courage and went for it without thinking too much, and I did not regret my decision. We all loved it so much that we went for rafting the next day as well. So on day one, we went from Shivpuri to our resort, Namami Gange, and on day two, we took Brahmapuri to Ramjhula route. Both days were different experience, but they were like 12 kilometers each. So in total, I would say we rafted for 24 kilometers. But you know what? Both days were very different as we had different rafting providers. The guide on day one was good for beginners, and day two guide was more adventurous, who made us do so many water sport, which you will see later in the video. Where on day one we learned how to row the boat, like forward paddle, backwards, stop, get down, etc. etc. Then on day two, we jumped off the boat on our own and in group as well. We did Titanic pose. I even felt and almost gave up to jump as it was out of my comfort zone. But once I did it, I didn't want it to come back onto the boat. So on day one, there were blue boats, and we had to hire two boats as we could all not fit into a single boat. But on day two, half of the people dropped, and it was red boats. Just to give you an idea if it's a day one or day two. So blue boats are day one, and red boat is day two. You would actually see the transformation from day one to day two. I was scared. In fact, all of us were scared on day one just to even stand on the boat. And on day two, we jumped off the boat. So there was a drastic change from day one to day two. But both the days we thoroughly enjoyed. The water was very cold, so at first you're like scared, very unwilling or reluctant to get into the water. But once you are in the water, like the first gush of water when it touches your body, you feel like, oh, it's so cold, I can't take it. But like the moment you're there, like for around a minute, I think you climatize yourself, like your body does, and then you don't feel cold at all. And also, that turbulent flowing water gives you that adrenaline rush, and you're constantly thinking when a huge wave would come and turn over the rafting board. Like, there are so many emotions going on. However, the rapid grades in Rishikesh is 1 to 5. But the ride that we took only had grades from 1 to 4. So basically, this is how the grades go. So, grade 1 is easy navigation, grade 2 has little obstacles, and then grade 3 is reasonably adventurous, I would say. Then grade 4 has rapids enough to tumble the boat, and finally grade 5 that has dangerous rapids and which is strictly for experts, as it has like 99% chances for the raft or the boat to tumble upside down. They also offer a full day rafting that covers 16 plus kilometers and has grade 5 rapids, but we didn't opt it for it. It was a very similar experience for all the rest of the family members as well. At first, they were reluctant and scared, then they all had fun. My sister in law had some health issues, so on day 2, she did not jump into the water, but day 1, she did. She certainly did and experienced the rafting as well. So on the first day, as I said, we had two boats. On boat one, it was myself and my husband, my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law and our niece. And on boat two, there was my brother-in-law, my brother, my bhabhi or sister-in-law, my daddy, and my sister and my niece. We were actually kind of racing and trying to beat one another in forward paddling. You know, if you want the boat to turn 360 degrees, then people sitting on the left needs to paddle forward and people sitting on the right they need to paddle backwards. Basically from one side if you paddle forward and then from another side if you paddle backwards, then the raft or the boat will turn 360 degrees or round and round, and this is how we can take the Titanic pose, or you can turn the boat 360 degree and you can even jump and you can get really amazing shots. After we were dropped outside a resort, we paid the guy a little bit extra and made our kids sit on the boat. Rafting is only allowed for 14 plus years, so kids, of course, they could not experience the rafting, but at least they could take a small boat ride. Kids were so happy and excited for the boat ride. We made sure that each child wore the life jacket and also that the rafting boat is away from the rapids. We were only circling around in the calm waters. I was inside, my 14 plus years niece was inside, like my kids wa dada, like my mother-in-law, father-in-law were inside as well. So yeah, kids were safe.
Someday we will look back and our hearts will be whole again. I want to remember all that happened to us. 'Cause I wanna drive through the summer night. And when we are old and gray, we'll look back at this summer night.
Hello, hello.
Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Mom and Me.
So on day 2, the guide asked us if we've done rafting before, and we said yes, just yesterday. And he said confidently that yesterday you only did rafting, but today you will enjoy rafting and remember this forever. And he was so right. We enjoyed day 2 more than day 1. It was not only adventurous and fun, but it took out that fear out of us and made us more confident, and we felt comfortable doing what we were doing. It is only because of day 2 that we will remember this rafting experience, and we would definitely wish to come back to Rishikesh or any other place that offers rafting, just to experience this again. You know what? Actually, day 2, I was determined that I do not want to jump into the water, as we were actually taking the last shift of the rafting. So the sun was almost getting down, and the moment we would finish the rafting, it would soon within 30-40 minutes it would get dark. So if we get out of the water, it wouldn't be sunny and we would be shivering. So I was just being a little reluctant not to jump into the water just to be on the safe side. But when I saw other people jump into the water, I wanted to. And as soon as I showed that little bit of interest and little bit of consent, the guide pushed me into the water. He was actually determined to throw all of us into the water. Of course, not my sister in law, as she had medical issues, but he convinced me and made me go into the water. And trust me, I would have missed a golden opportunity, or like an experience of a lifetime, if I hadn't been in the water on day 2.
Waited all my life for someone like you to show. Now that you're mine, it's so hard to take things slow. Oh, don't wanna wait another day, don't wanna fight to fade to glow. We're going under the weather, harder than ever, higher than high we go. I'm flying light as a feather when we're together. I'm falling like a domino. I wanna scream and shout, keep it up all night. I wanna scream and shout, keep it up all night. I wanna scream and shout, keep it up all night. Until we get it right. 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 Spending all my days wishing I was someone else. Now the tables are turned and I climb right out as well. Someone granted my plea like a coin in a wishing well. Going under the weather, harder than ever, higher than high we go. I'm flying light as a feather when we're together. I'm falling like a domino.
Anyway, after all the fun, we reached Ramjhula where the rafting was going to conclude. The only drawback of this rafting experience was that we were left with wet clothes at Rishikesh city and we had to go to the mountains, which was around 30 minutes ride at least, and we didn't had clothes to change as we could not keep them in the boat. So first thing we did was to eat hot Maggie just to calm our nerves. Like we were shivering, we all were shivering. After having Maggie, desi burger, a little bit of chai, we took off to the taxi stand. They are called chagras, something like that, which we took from the city, and they left us at Tapovan. It's like a suburb, a city, like an area in Rishikesh, and this is where the taxi stop and the bolero or the jeep ride starts. But because we took the last rafting slot, it was almost gonna turn dark. There weren't many bolero rides going to the mountains. Otherwise, there are so many rafting like jeeps that go uphill as well. They can actually give you a lift, but there were none at this time. Finally, we did got one, and we reached our ashram. As day two, we were checked out from Namami and we checked into Osho ashram. A day spent at Osho ashram. A vlog like this is gonna come soon on my channel, so stay tuned to Mom and Me and subscribe if you haven't already. So that's it, guys. That was our rafting experience in nutshell. Hope you got a lot of information and you were there just experiencing what we were experiencing and enjoyed watching us. So I'll sign off now and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.
Wanna wait another day, don't wanna fight to fade to glow.